The clip you're about to watch came from the Payo Time and Rams House show. We discuss the Rams with you guys live every Friday night, and if you guys would like to join us, we'd love to see you there.
So if you guys don't know, I'll give you guys a refresher once again. This segment is going to be based on what Rich Eisen does on his show and on his podcast. And basically, I'm going to be pitching you guys a bold take and a hot take potentially. And I'm going to be asking both you and Payo, is this an overreaction, or as we say, over Rams action, or is this fair? Is this a fair point? We're going to be starting off with the topic of the day here, topic of the week after last week. Should Blake Corum get more snaps than Kyren Williams? After we saw last week, Blake Corum had some big runs. It led to a lot of discussion amongst the Rams fan base, thinking that Blake Corum should get more touches than Kyren Williams. I have my thoughts, but I'm going to give it to you, Payo, and to you, the chat. What do you guys think?
Yeah, this is an over Rams action. Do we forget that we just paid Kyren Williams to be a franchise running back? Again, love Blake Corum. Really excited to see what he turns into as a football player. I think he could have a really good career. But I'm of the mindset of it's cool to have two good running backs, right? And if Corum is, the hot hand, he's running the rock well, yeah, let's stick with Corum, right? But I still think Kyren Williams is absolutely the leader of this running back room. He's the leader of the backfield. And I think that Kyren Williams, though he can still I still think he's a better pass protector than Blake Corum is. Yeah. And that's the primary reason of why he is where he is. I think both these running backs have talent. Kyren Williams is in the prime of his career. Blake Corum is entering the prime of his career, in my opinion. So I'm going to say this is an over Rams action.
I definitely agree with you there. I don't disagree with the take that Corum should get more touches and get involved in the offense more. Maybe he has a drive where this drive is just going to be Blake Corum's. I definitely agree that he should be getting more touches, but I don't think that Kyren Williams should be benched, essentially. That's what a lot of people are saying. I think, like you said, we just paid Kyren Williams. We've seen the last few seasons have been amazing for Kyren Williams. And a lot of people critique the one thing that he can't do well physically of his speed and saying he needs to be more of an explosive runner. But if you look at everything else that a running back can do, Kyren does that an A+. It's just, I think people get so hung up on the speed and the breakaway ability, and they think that because of that, he shouldn't be the starter. And we did see, to be fair to Blake Corum, we did see when he got put into the game last week, there was an energy to his carries, and he brought a spark to the offense, but I also think that was partially due to blocking. It feels like Kyren Williams still hasn't had a lot of great blocking to support him and give him the lanes that he needs. And Corum happened to be on a lot of those plays where it was blocked up super well.
Yeah, and First and Tuna, he had a really good video this week kind of talking about that. And yeah, I totally think that was just the nature of it. Corum came in for his series and the blocking really put it together. Kyren hasn't had a lot of room to work.
Yeah, it's also interesting just to see it feels like a lot of us sports fans can have a short-term memory of if you look back at what Kyren's done for this franchise and even just the turnaround of this kind of new era Rams team, he's been one of the big reasons behind why the Rams were able to transition so easily from that 2021 Super Bowl team to where we are now. Yep. And I think a lot of the times it's easy to be reactionary to one game or to two games, or even just looking at bare numbers alone and draw conclusions when really you have to look at the full picture.
Yep. No. And I'm excited because it would not shock me if Kyren Williams is one of the reasons the Rams beat the Eagles on Sunday.
Yes. Yeah, a lot of those runs, he's a guaranteed to get 3, 4, or 5 yards every carry. And I would argue he has the best vision in the NFL as a running back. So that's definitely a good point here. We see that he says that it should be a 1-2 punch.
Yep.
I agree with that. I think the Rams, Sean McVay came out himself and said that they want it to be a 70-30 split. And I think that's honestly fair for right now. But I'll honestly also think if one of them is in a rhythm and in a groove, you can stick with a hot hand as well. But, he definitely brought up a good point of Kyren is a very good pass protecting running back.
Yep.
Okay, number 2.
Okay, let's hear it.
Eagles will have more sacks than Rams touchdowns. Is this an over Rams action, or is it fair?
The Eagles' D-line is pretty good. I guess that's assuming this game is going to be low scoring, or at least assuming the Rams are going to be low scoring. Yeah, I'm going to say that's an over Rams action. Yeah. I think that I think Stafford will prioritize getting the ball out quickly this week. Jalen Carter definitely is, good at football.
Yeah.
He's good at what he does. And this Eagles defense is very, like, they're one of the best defenses in the NFL. Just put it that way. I think though that the Rams can come in, and I really think they're going to put at least 30 on the board again this week.
Wow. See, that's where, from my perspective, I'm going back and forth on this one, because I think that the Rams are going to end up winning this game 21-17. That's my prediction. I think it's going to be a little bit lower scoring than most NFL games. So if you think about it, to have more sacks than touchdowns for the Eagles, they would only need 4 sacks if that score were to come down.
Okay.
I could legitimately see 4 sacks happening just because our interior is going through those injuries. I'm not the biggest fan of Coleman Shelton myself, just like against matchups like Jalen Carter and like guys that are this big. I just don't think that's a great matchup for him. So I could make an argument that there's 1 sack each quarter that the Eagles get, and they have more sacks than us having touchdowns, as well as this being a little bit of a low scoring game. So to me, I would say that this is not an over Rams action, but that's me personally.
No, that's fair. That's fair. We can disagree and still keep our show.
Oh yeah, definitely. Okay, number 3. The winner of this game will have the number 1 seed at year's end.
Oh, you went there. In week 3, Rams house, really? I don't know. Oh, how do I say it? Because I don't think it's an over Rams action. I said it. I don't think it's crazy to think this is a possible NFC championship game. And the winner of this game, absolutely, because they'll have a tiebreaker that if they have the same record at the end of the year. I think both these teams are ready to win a bunch of games in 2025. And I do think this game, more than any other game we've played this year, is going to have that playoff atmosphere kind of vibe to it. Philly fans know, Ram fans know, this is a big game. It's an NFC powerhouse matchup, week 3. Oh, man.
Yeah, I think that it's not an over Rams action to say that this is the winner of this game will have the number 1 seed. This obviously doesn't mean it's a guarantee, but I think there's a pretty high likelihood. Like when you look in the NFC alone, the only other teams I could see fighting for that number 1 seed is the Packers. They've looked really good. And maybe the Buccaneers. Is there any teams I'm missing?
I'd maybe toss the Lions in there. They had a bad week 1,
Yeah.
but then again, it's the Bears, which the Bears look really bad. But I would put the Lions up there too.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't think it's an over Rams action. That could be Rams bias. But number 4 here, the Rams would lose their 3rd consecutive game to the Eagles in 2 seasons if they did not bring in Nate Landman and Puna Ford. So it'd be like a guarantee, almost guarantee. If we still had Roseboom and we didn't have Puna Ford, the Rams would lose this game.
That's a good one. Thinking about it, like I feel like those actions were specifically for the Eagles.
Yeah.
That was why they were a priority in free agency. You know what? I'm gonna say but you just never know. There's so many variables to that. But I guess if we're talking about like as the teams are as they are now, if we were to kind of sub those 2 players out, I don't think that's an overreaction action. No, I don't think that's an overreaction. I think that both Landman and Ford, this was part of the pitch of like, hey, we'd really like you to come play defense for us because we're trying to beat the Eagles. Want to help?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that there's no like guarantees and absolutes in the NFL, and in like we see crazy things happen all the time. We were talking like off air about the Rams and Jets game in 2020 of us losing that one. Nobody would have seen that coming, so I don't think anything's an outright guarantee. But I think the Rams winning like chances go down a significant like 30-40% if we don't have these 2 players. So that's where I come from. I'm just gonna answer this question real quick. He says, when is the last time the Rams have beaten the Eagles? That was 2020, right?
Yeah. So if I bring up, give me a sec here. Add stage. If we go up here, and so 2025 loss, 2024 loss, 2023 loss. Then Sunday, September 20th, 2020. Mm-hmm. Oh, 2020. That's fun. The Rams beat the Eagles 37-19.
I remember. I think Higbee had like 3 touchdowns that game.
I think that was his 3-touchdown game. Yeah,
that was so random. And then Darius Williams had an interception. That was like the start of his breakout year. So yeah, to answer your question, 2020 was the last time the Rams beat the Eagles. So at that point, Carson Wentz was their quarterback.
Yep, and Goff. Yeah, because it was a Goff versus Wentz matchup. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh,
what a throwback.
Yeah, the Rams had over 449 yards. Yeah, that's cool. Huh. Oh,
a little tip.
Sam Sloman was the kicker.
Oh my. That doesn't bring back the greatest memories.
Oh,
I think I prefer Josh Carty.
Yeah. Yeah.
Says, Madden has Eagles winning 38-6. Let's hope that Madden is right. It rarely is, but let's hope it's right.
Yeah.
All right. Over Rams action number 5. Someone not named Puka Nacua or Devontae Adams will lead the Rams in receiving yards.
Ooh. So the candidates would be, you'd think, Tutu just catching a bunch of deep passes. I don't, as much as I like Xavier Smith and Jordan Whittington, I don't see them getting enough volume to get that. I'm going to say that's an over Rams action. I just think that those 2 command so much of the game plan. It would be a total shock if someone and again, shout out Davis Allen, back-to-back weeks getting touchdown. I don't see him getting like the yardage. Like he might get some red zone targets or something. Yeah, I think that's an over Rams action there.
I agree with that, but for a counter argument's sake, if you think about it, all it takes is like 2 Atwell bombs, like deep throws down the field. This is a hard thing to do, but imagine you have a 60-yard pass to Atwell and a 50-yard pass to Atwell, or something. Like, what if it's just an Atwell game? You never know. But I'd agree with you. This is probably an over Rams action, but I would not be surprised if we saw Tutu Atwell catch a deep one this game.
And I would love that because I'm sick and tired of Ram fans being like, he only has 1 catch for 4 yards, and we paid him $10 million for a $10 million catch. It's like, okay, let's just ease up on Tutu here, okay?
Yeah, and we saw we talked about it last week. I think Tutu Atwell is a very matchup dependent kind of player. Nothing bad to say about him, but I think there's certain matchups that the Rams like what they have in him against teams, and other matchups where they'd rather roll out with Whittington. And I think the last couple of weeks against the kind of physical defenses we've played, Whittington has been the better option there. But I think it's a good problem to have to have a bunch of wide receiver options where fans are complaining about not using somebody. At least it's not like we're the Eagles who have A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, but they keep talking about how A.J. Brown's not getting the ball. Like, that's not the kind of problem that we're having. So
very true. Yeah.
We say over Rams action for this one.
Ooh.
In the final one
Okay,
for
let's
this
hear it.
segment. Number 6, Byron Young will be the best Rams pass rusher by year's end. Just numbers wise, pure numbers wise, Byron Young will be the best pass rusher by year's end.
Byron Young. So like numbers, like he'll have the most sacks or tackles for losses,
Yeah, I would say sacks, pressures,
pressures.
all the
okay.
kind of like flashy stats. Because
Yeah.
right now, I believe he has 3 sacks and a strip sack. So
You know what? Because he's gonna get like the one-on-ones, right?
mhm.
I don't think that's an over Rams action, which is
I don't
I've
think
never
so.
thought about it till this exact moment. But like, because like Turner and Fisk are on the inside, it's tougher there. It's different. Verse is gonna face double and triple teams all season long. Yeah, I don't think in terms of statistics, I don't think that's an overreaction.
Yeah, because I
Really?
kind of look at Jared Verse for this year, at least right now, as kind of like a table setter guy for the rest of them, because he is getting double and triple teams right now, like Aaron Donald used to, which only opens up opportunities for Byron Young and for the other pass rushers. So far, Byron Young has looked the best he's looked with the Rams ever. And this is a guy who, for me, coming into this season, I saw as a potential of maybe Josiah Stewart taking a little bit more of his reps, just because he usually starts the season strong and tails off. And a lot of people talk about how he's like a one-trick pony kind of like pass rusher. But this year, he's shown so much improvement. And I think part of it is the Pilates that he did in the offseason for flexibility. But I also think it's like he was new to football. Like he was working at the Dollar General until like he was a walk-on for college pretty late. So this is still like every year you can see him taking legitimate jumps because of how late he started actually playing football.
Yeah, no, I love BY's story,
Yeah.
in that regards to it, and yeah, I it's cool. It's cool to see because I still remember it was only a couple weeks ago. People were like, trade Byron Young and 2 first-round picks for Micah Parsons.
Yeah. It's crazy what just a couple weeks will do for perspective.
Yeah.